1.4 Demand. In this lesson, we're covering one of the most fundamental topics in all of economics: demand. In economics, demand isn't just about wanting something. It's all about your ability and your willingness to pay for it. The law of demand. The core idea here is the law of demand, which states that there's an inverse relationship between the price of a good and the quantity that people are willing to buy. Let's use Pearphone as an example. If the price of a new Pearphone goes up, fewer people will be willing or able to buy it. On the other hand, if the company slashes the price, there'll likely be more buyers willing and able to buy it. We can show this relationship on a demand curve, a downward sloping line with price on the y-axis and quantity on the x-axis. We can also show it on a demand schedule, which is a table that shows the same inverse relationship. Movement versus shift. This next part of the lesson is crucial, and it's a common mistake that students make on the AP test. We need to know the difference between a change in quantity demanded and a change in demand. A change in the product's price causes a change in quantity demanded. This is shown as a movement along the existing demand curve. If the Pearphone goes on sale, we just move down along the curve to a higher quantity. Of course, there are lots of things other than price that could also change our willingness to buy the phone. We call these non-price factors, and they cause a shift to the entire demand curve. A rightward shift signals an increase in demand, whereas a leftward shift signals a decrease. The shifters of demand. So what are these non-price factors that can shift the entire demand curve? There are 5 that you need to know. First, tastes and preferences. Let's use sardines as an example here. Suppose a report finds that sardines are linked to cancer. Well, as you might expect, fewer people are now interested in buying sardines, and this leads to a leftward shift of the demand curve. Even at the same price of P1, we have fewer willing buyers. Second, the price of related goods. If a close substitute to sardines, like tuna, goes up in price, canned fish lovers might start buying less tuna and more sardines. While this situation does involve price, it's not the price of sardines that's changing, but rather the price of related goods. The third shift is a change in income. If your income goes up, your purchasing habits are likely to change as well. Instead of taking the bus, maybe you buy a car. Or instead of canned sardines, maybe you buy fresh salmon. Shifter number 4 is the number of buyers. If the population of a country grows, the demand for all sorts of goods, from diapers to TVs, will naturally increase, shifting the demand curve to the right. And finally, our last shifter is buyers' expectations. If you hear that housing prices are going to fall over the next year, you might hold off on buying a house today. Why pay a high price when you can just wait a little while and pay less? So the expectation of lower prices tomorrow causes a decrease in the demand for a house today. So that's all for this lesson. We learned about the law of demand, demand curves, demand schedules, changes to quantity demanded, and shifters of our demand curve. Make sure to complete the comprehension questions, and I'll see you in the next lesson.